Hello, welcome back to the channel. It is Dan, Nocturne Knives. Got an unboxing for you today. A pre-order that has been out there for a while. Very excited to get it in. And let's go ahead and get into it. Got the Null Knives Voodoo to open this thing up. Here's the card. Here's your contact information, your website, and everything. Definitely go check out Null Knives. I'm a big fan of what they're doing. Sean is an awesome dude, and he's making some wonderful knives, designing some wonderful knives. Pop this open. Here's your tasty snack in the box when you get hungry later. Take this foam off. Ooh, yeah. That's what we're looking at. It is the Raikou. This is number 8. Blade is dark wash, handle static wash, hardware satin. Ooh, look at this. Oh, I'm really excited for this. So I first saw this knife at Blade Show last year. That would be Blade Show in 2023. Sean had a lot of these at his table. He had some prototypes of these, and they were really, really cool. This is based on his Raiden model. If I remember, maybe I'll put a picture of that on screen or a video, but the Raiden was his first model. Very, very cool knife, and especially amazing as a first knife. It was a really good, really cool achievement for a first-time maker to pump out, and it was a great knife. I did not end up getting one of those because it wasn't quite my style. This is based on that knife, but I'll open this up with a Wharncliffe blade. That is the primary difference here. You have a number of small differences, but the biggest difference is that Warney blade. Whereas the Raikou had the Raiden had like a drop point, clip point style thing. I don't 100% remember off the top of my head. But they have a very, very similar handle on them. So this is the Raikou. This was a pre-order. It's been on pre-order for a few months now. Finally came in. Very excited about this one. You've got titanium handles on this. The blade is, let's see, there we go, S90V on the blade. Little more interesting than some basic M390 or 20CV, something like that. This one has thumb studs and a fuller, and the blade it's got this stonewash on the bevels, and then a kind of machine satin, hand satin looking finish on the flats. Probably done on machine, but it has the look and texture of a hand satin. It actually looks really, really nice. And then the handles are this nice clean stonewash. This monochromatic look is really my preference most of the time. I love a nice stonewash. I love a nice plain tie handle. So I was really excited to get this variant. And he has some much fancier variants, especially the drop exclusive was this really crazy like fat carbon show side and either hand rubbed Vanax blade or Damasteel, and that version just looks like super insane. It's really cool. This is a little bit more simple, and that's how I like it. This version on the pre-order was $310. It is made by Raikou Knives in China. Very, very high quality. Raikou also made the Voodoo model, and all their work is very good, very high quality. They are one of the best Chinese OEMs around, so no issues on quality there. And for $310, that is not bad at all in my opinion. A lot of Chinese OEM knives are coming in at least that expensive or significantly more, getting up into $350, $375, $400 plus ranges a lot of the time. So not a bad value at all. And that's for this base version. The other fancier ones were more expensive. So getting into some first impressions, the action is nice. It is breaking in a lot, even from the first open. it has broken in a significant amount, and I can tell this needs to break in a decent bit more. It's just a little stiff, a little sluggish right now, but already solid action. It has this fuller here in the blade, which Sean likes to do. It's very reminiscent of this fuller on the Voodoo blade. You can see, I'll open this up. Very similar fullers, smaller on the Raikou, but they have kind of that same shape going on. And then he's again gone with a thumb stud fuller combo. On the Voodoo, it was this interesting triangular stud, which I like, but in general, I do prefer the round stud. It's just a little bit easier to use. So fuller, super easy to flick. You have great access to it. It's fully exposed out of the handle, so it's very easy to get a middle finger in there like that, and you could get a pointer finger in there. I think that's super awkward, that opening method in general, but if you're a pointer finger flicker, you can do that. Middle finger flick is super easy. And then you have these very nicely placed thumb studs right here for the thumb flick, or you can do a middle finger flick off the studs on the back like that. Very, very nice. On the Ergo side, you have, it's pretty much the same handle as the Raiden, if you're familiar with that knife. You have this main groove where your first two fingers go, and then your other two fingers wrap around here. On the base, really nice in hand. It kind of looks like a funky handle, looks like it might not make sense, but you put it in your hand, and it really just, it works out. This curve nestles into your hand right there. These fingers, a little extra width lets these fingers get a nice purchase on the handle here, whereas some knives get skinnier in the back. This one gets slightly wider. And yeah, it's interesting. Just with how your hand ends up being positioned, it lets all your fingers fall kind of at the same distance into your hand. They all have meat on the handle to wrap around. Very nice there. So saber grip is good. Your thumb falls right here onto this jimping if you're kind of choked back a little, or you can extend up to this little harpoon-ish shape right here and get some purchase. That's very nice. Hammer grip, really good as well. Yep, no issues on that. Yeah, there's nothing on the back of the handle that's poking into you. These two little ridges are not sharp at all, so you don't notice them pushing into your hand really at all. So that's really nice. Draw cut is just fine. Again, nothing really sharp on this handle, despite a lot of angles. None of it's actually sharp or gets in the way or anything. And then pinch grip actually is really, really nice. You have this flat here that your pointer can rest up on. These fingers get a good purchase right here, and the whole back of the knife just nestles into your hand really easily. Yeah, pinch grip is really nice on this. Yeah, all the ergos are quite good. No sharp edges, nothing to poke your hand. This clip actually is really, really comfortable. You really don't even feel it in any of these grips. Squeezing down, you don't feel it on your fingers here. You don't feel it in your palm. It's really a really nicely done clip here. Looks like it's going to have enough ramp. Tension, it feels a little bit tight. I'll have to see how that works in and out of pants. It's got enough ramp and enough clearance. I think it's going to work on just about any pants. See, compared to the Voodoo clip, Voodoo clip's a little bit looser. But yeah, I think that's going to be all right. We'll see if it causes any issues. You could always torque it out just a little bit and make that lighter pressure, and that's no problem. And on the clip, you have hidden hardware. It is inside. Not sure if you'll be able to see that right there. The clip is attached with 2 screws, actually. And then also inside, you have a bunch of milling to relieve the weight. Again, you probably won't be able to see it in there. Kind of difficult to show. But this whole interior is milled. Even the lock bar, even the inside of the lock bar is milled to lighten it up. So that's a really nice touch. And on the balance, you get it right here, right before where the first finger lands. So balance is almost perfect, and it feels light and nimble in your hand. Very nice. Lock bar disengagement. Now this is interesting. The lock bar does not extend out from the frame at all, but there's a cutout on either side of the frame, and the lock bar has this nice stippling texture. I'm not sure exactly what you call it. Not dimpling, like stippled texture right here. So you can pretty easily get in there, push it over. Your finger doesn't want to slip off. So despite it not being exposed, it's actually pretty easy to disengage. That's solid. I'll show you it on the Voodoo. I really like the disengagement on the Voodoo. You can see the lock bar sticks out just a little bit, and it has that same stippled kind of texture. So I really like the disengagement on the Voodoo. There's slightly less access on the Raikou, but it actually still works pretty well. I don't dislike that. I'll have to kind of reevaluate after carrying and using this more if I wish there was more lock bar access or if this is sufficient, but my first impression is that it's okay. I think I would like a little more if there was a gentle cutout here to give you more access, but as it is, it's very doable, and I don't mind it too much. Really like this blade. This is a very cool blade shape. It is, see, just looking down the edge, it is a true Wharncliffe. It is just about perfectly straight, so an actual true Warnie here. There's no curve. If you look at the Voodoo, you'll see down the edge profile there is a slight curve here. So this is not quite a true Warnie, hollow ground stonewashed. On the Raikou, it is just about a perfectly straight edge. So really a true Warnie here. It also features, actually that is a flat grind. I thought it was a hollow grind for some reason, but no, that's a flat grind. Pretty thin behind the edge. I think probably 15, 16 thousandths behind the edge. Here you can see it at the tip, and that's pretty consistent all the way down the length. Pretty thin, not bad. I think it would be really, really cool with a hollow grind, but the flat grind is done quite well, and the stock is not too thick. I'm guessing 1/8 of an inch. Very cool stuff. Let me pop out some other knives here for you. So here's my only other Null Knives. That is the Voodoo. So here you go, Voodoo and Raikou compared pivot to pivot. The Voodoo has maybe 1/3 of an inch on the back and 1/3 of an inch on the blade, coming in just a little bit longer overall. Compare blade lengths directly. You have, actually the blade lengths are incredibly close. Not sure if you can see that. It's like 1/8 of an inch difference in here. And then take a look at the handle lengths. See, the Raikou is a decent bit more compact on the handle right there. There's what the thickness looks like. Raikou coming in just a little bit thinner, very slightly. Yeah, Raikou just a little bit more compact overall, but with almost the same blade length. It has a really, really nice blade to handle ratio. You can see here that blade coming all the way back, but perfectly safe. There is absolutely no way to get your finger in there. I'm jamming, here you can see I'm jamming my finger in there, and I cannot touch the point of that. Even my pinky, I can just barely get it. If I actually jam my pinky in there and pull it upwards, you could just barely get it. But there's pretty much no access to that edge, and it's the same thing back here. There's no access to that edge. Very well done. For comparison's sake, I'll pull out a few more sheep's foots and Warnies. Here's the Kunwu Chad in a sheep's foot, and here is the Devo Knives Stout V2 in a sheep's foot as well. And see, it's kind of right in the middle between these three knives, actually. This is a good trio for comparison. Really like this knife, by the way. I absolutely love the Stout V2. Fantastic knife. And then here's a pair of Spyderco Waries. Here's the Andela Warnie. And then the, what do you call this? The swayback. That's right, and really, really similar actually to both of these. Overall length is almost identical. It's a little bit shorter than the swayback, but about the same as the Indela overall. Take a look at some of that closed profile. You see a lot more compact. A lot more compact than something like the Indela, and pretty similar to something like the swayback here. Put it up against, oh, I forgot I had this warning. Here's my Paramilitary 2 from Spyderco. You can see a decent bit larger than the Raikou, decent bit. Right there, butt to butt. There it is, pivot to pivot. This is in Applied Weapons Tech scales, by the way. Love those. And here I'll put it up against some Arcane Design models. Arcane is one of my favorite designers at the moment. Here is the Abyss, and here is the Creature. About the same size as the Abyss, very, very close, and then a decent bit smaller than the Creature. Here it is against the TW Price Dawn V2, and a decent bit longer and larger than the Dawn V2. So this is definitely a full-size knife, but it carries pretty small, pretty slim compared to the Dawn V2. It's not that much bigger in handle profile, length, or width. And then blade is coming in longer there. Yeah, very reasonable carry right here. Yeah, it gets pretty compact. Blade tucks nicely into the handle. We're looking at 3.6 ounces, not bad at all. Here's the Voodoo, just for comparison's sake, 4.1. Decently larger knife. And something like the TW Price is coming in 3.7, so very comparable to the Raikou, 3.6. Blade stock is coming in 0.13, so just over 1/8 of an inch. And handle width, go and do that just for the heck of it, 0.48, under 1/2 an inch. Oh, this is riding on bearings, by the way. And behind the edge thickness is coming in at, oh, look at that, about 15 thousandths. Who could have guessed that? Digital calipers, pretty damn accurate. Yeah, awesome. And take a look at length here. All I have, this is what I have handy. Here is a Mysteries of the Deep metric conversion ruler for you. I don't know where this came from. On the overall length, we're looking at about 7.8, 7.9 inches. Blade length is right about 3.5 inches, with a cutting edge of about 3 1/3 inches. So really, yeah, right in that kind of sweet spot of 3 to 3.5 inches. A bit under 8 inches overall. Very nice general size for EDC. Absolutely no blade play, no detent lash. Centering is perfect. Not sure if you can tell there. See, nothing, no play up and down. No lock failure there. Just fine. Just banging up my cutting board. That actually didn't really do anything. Yeah, that is a solid build. Very happy with that. I have identified no manufacturing faults with this. I think the edge feels really sharp actually. That's that edge. Yep, that is just fine. Just fine on the edge. No problem there. Yep, that's gonna be hair shaving sharp. And it is pretty consistent from heel to tip. That's not bad at all. It's got maybe just a little funkiness out here in the tip. Not sure if you can tell that, but it's pretty darn good. Edge angle is coming in at about 16 degrees. No, 17. 17 degrees. Yeah, 17 degrees per side on the edge angle. That is actually the most reasonable edge angle that I think I've ever seen from a Chinese OEM. I'm actually very impressed. Yeah, That's a super reasonable edge angle. Normally it's 20 to 25 degrees, usually sharp and even, but just obtuse. No, this edge is really, really nice. 17 degrees per side. I'm more than satisfied with that. I'm completely happy with it. The edge quality, the sharpness, the consistency, I'm very pleased with it. Really, really good edge. I couldn't really have this any better. That's excellent. Very well done, Raikou on that edge. Kind of this very cool geared backspacer that are flush with the scales, so it's not like it's sharp or rough or anything. Yeah, you have these really cool little milling details here where the lock bar intersects with the rest of the handle. Is awesome. All these really cool milling details right here on the back, all these different angles and chamfers. It's very cool. It seems simple on the surface, but you dive into these details and it's fascinating in all these details. The very cool texture here on the pivot carries over to the other side, and it's the same texture that's on the lock bar. Super cool. Really awesome right there. Not sure if you'll be able to see this, but it says Raikou on the inside of the backspacer. It says Raikou, then number 8 for the serial number. That's an awesome place to put the serial number and the name of the knife. And then the steel designation is here on the tang of the blade, which is visible as the blade is closed right there. But you open up the knife and the steel marker hides itself under the handle. So this design is completely sterile except for the steel designation that is visible here. Here is the Null Knives logo on the lock bar cutout. Great place for it, and I like how it blends in to the rest of the finish. And then the name of the knife is lasered on the inside of the backspacer. Wonderful details there. I love the lack of billboarding, and that is also the case on the Voodoo steel designation here. And just a single logo on the face of the blade right there, nothing else. Very, very cool, clean design. Love that. So that is the Null Knives Raikou unboxing, just dropped from the pre-order. Again, this was a pre-order, so these knives are not currently available. I am guessing that Sean will have some extras that he will drop in some capacity. They may be on his website, they may be going to dealers. I have no idea. Follow Null Knives on Instagram. I'll put a link to that in the description of this video. Sean is a good dude. He's doing really, really good work. He's got a great Instagram feed. All of his designs look amazing. His newest one, actually, the Ghoul, is dropping on the 7th, I believe, as pre-order. So definitely check that out. That's a very cool knife. I hope you enjoyed watching this video. If you have any thoughts or opinions or ideas about this knife, any questions, please head down to the comments, drop a comment below. I would love to hear it and engage with you down there. While you're down there, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button if you enjoyed this video. And with all that said, thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.